Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session of Converge on being better together and building effective solutions with Citrix Workspace and Citrix Podio. I have with me my co speaker Chandrika Srinivasan, the lead product manager for Microapps on Citrix Workspace. And I am Pallabi Patnaik, the lead product manager for Citrix Podio. And we would talk about how our teams have joined hands to reap benefits out of the synergy between the different Citrix products, namely Workspace and Podio. 1 plus 1 is not necessarily always 2, it can be more, and that's what is our current focus. We want to deliver a solution to improve the overall productivity and experience of our customers. Now, with that, before we proceed, I'd like to give a quick disclaimer that the development, release, and timing of any of the features and functionalities that we are going to talk about should not be taken for granted and are subject to change without notice or consultation. This is a brief agenda for today. We will first talk about maintaining productivity in a post COVID world or the next new normal. Then we'll demonstrate how we're digging out the synergy between Podio and Workspace, followed by our plans for the future. So let's start with what is the next new normal and why can maintaining productivity actually be a challenge? According to statistics, 40% of companies say they are planning to accelerate new ways of working and automation as part of their return to workplace strategy. Segment employees, sequence facility openings, and plan to operate at 35 to 50% of in person capacity for an extended period. And in fact, our best estimate says that 25 to 30% of the workforce will be working from home multiple days a week by the end of 2021. And that's why we say employee experience is now gonna be more important than ever. The global pandemic reinforced and amplified the importance of employee experience, making it clear that competitive advantage will go to organizations that can empower employees with the culture, physical workspace, and digital tools to do their best work, wherever, whenever work needs to be done. And remote work is here to stay. Acknowledging cost, productivity, and flexibility benefits, organizations are making remote working a permanent part of their cost and workforce strategies. Back to office will be anything but normal. Organizations will fundamentally reimagine the structure and role of their office environments to keep employees safe and productive and enable greater agility. Adaptive work is where we are going. So it's going to be a blend of remote work and back to office. Organizations are rushing to embrace more flexible operating models that allow them to quickly scale their resources from talent to office space to IT to adapt to changing market conditions. For IT, this means accelerating cloud transformation and app modernization efforts. Now, with this thought, Citrix has launched a back to office solution package in association with our partners. Here we are utilizing the different Citrix products as system of records and delivering quick actions on Workspace. Facilities can collect feedback from employees. Any critical or crisis communication can be shared with intended employees as broadcast messages. Quick eNPS and pulse surveys can be done to understand the employee health or the employee mind health. In fact, we within Citrix have launched the COVID-19 self-certify app for our own internal consumption by employees getting back to office. Now, extending beyond just back to office, I would like to introduce to you out of the box actions, which we plan on referring to as utility apps. Utility apps is the concept of utility actions being available as Citrix offered microapps on Workspace by default, without needing any additional configuration by the admin. It involves no additional cost or integration to a separate system of record. Utility apps can further be defined as standard and quick no-brainer actions that can be templated, automated, and made available out of the box on Workspace. These are typically non-functional requirements, not part of your core work deliverables, but an integral part of your day-to-day work. For example, submitting a PTO request, expense report, raising an IT support query, approving your team's PTO requests, and many more. An employee wants to spend as minimum time as possible on these actions, So as to better focus on code deliverables, these actions could be inspired by the engagement driven through activity feed or actionable notifications curated for the user on the feed. Here are a few illustrations of how user can check business and IT FAQs, view relevant broadcast messages, fill up a survey, all while being on the workspace. So the value for admin here is no extra configuration needed to enable these actions for employees. These actions will be available with the workspace subscription out of the box. Admin just needs to select which actions should be available to employees by default. If required, admin can definitely edit the template of this utility apps, but through a no-code model. Hence, it is easy and requires less onboarding time. And the value for end users is that they do not need to juggle between multiple systems of record to complete urgent activities like PTO requests, expense reporting, etc. They just need to be logged on to one platform, that's Workspace. Thereafter, all the actions will be served as a dessert platter on Workspace for quick access and early completion.
Thank you for setting the stage, Pallabi, by bringing to focus some of the challenges all of us have been facing these past few months and introducing the concept of utility apps that we've built to keep ourselves and our customers productive through this extraordinarily challenging phase. Hi, I'm Chandrika Srinivasan, a senior product manager with the Workspace Microapps platform. And what I'll be doing today is walking you through the utility apps that Pallabi referred to, getting into details of how we built them and how you can leverage these apps to adapt to your own custom workflows to keep your customers and your organizations productive. Okay, so let's start with a simple example. So what we have here is a regular workspace interface. This is, of course, our demo workspace that I'm showing you, but this is very similar to what we've rolled out within Citrix and what is available as a Citrix solution. So some microapps may look familiar to you, like request PTO, submit incident. These are microapps that we ship as template and are available to you out of the box. But what I really want to focus on here is some of these more general purpose apps you see here, or utility apps. So for example, let's look at this employee survey. When you have this hybrid work model, it is so important to keep in touch with your employees for their well-being. Are they feeling productive enough? Are they managing to maintain a good work-life balance? Are they feeling overwhelmed with the situation we all are in? Are they confident about delivering on their priorities, or do they need support? Getting feedback often is important so you can course correct and modify your policies accordingly. I mean, nobody has navigated this kind of world before. This broadcast app is another good example. Now more so than ever, it is so critical to maintain a clear, consistent communication channel so employees feel secure and confident coming back to work. I mean, there is no longer that water cooler chat or that regular face-to-face interaction. So it is even more important to engage with your employees more consistently. So that is that connection, you maintain that connection. Let's look at a few more examples here. Yes, so this COVID-19 self-certify app, Pallabi referred to this briefly in her introduction. This is an app that we've rolled out at Citrix as we were preparing to phase some of our workers back into the office. It is a self-certification of health where the employee signs an agreement stating that they are feeling well enough to work today, they don't have a temperature, they haven't traveled outside the country in the past 14 days. This has been quite useful at Citrix. We found it super easy to use and deploy using Workspace, and it's been a very effective way of keeping track of employee movement in the office and maintain some level of compliance. And then HR FAQs and IT FAQs. This is classic, right? There is so much that is changing about how we work today, and there's a lot of communication around it. What are the remote working policies? What are the tools that I need? Can I use my own device, or do I need to use the company device? If I need to use the company device, what is the software I need? And, PTO, what's happening to my PTO? Can I take some additional time off? And every email you send or every new wiki you create is just creating noise for your employees. How cool would it be if all the information could be available in one place? That one place that every employee logs in every day to get their work done. It is busy work like this, right? Like looking for basic information to get your work done that quickly adds up. I personally am a big fan of this single pane of glass way of relaying information, and I find it very useful and very productive. So, these are just some of the examples of back to office solutions we've built. But really, it is this concept of utility apps is quite extensible and applies to a variety of use cases. Now, the best part is how ridiculously easy it was to build this. So let's take a look at that. Now, when we started out on this idea of utility apps, what stood out was of course, the simplicity of the use cases. We wanted to achieve very, very simple workflows, but also that every application required a different backend structure. So what was required was not only a dynamic and versatile backend, but something that would be very simple to integrate with Workspace, and which is when we decided to use Podio. For those of you who are not familiar with Podio, it is a Citrix product, of course, but more importantly, it's a very powerful platform that allows you to create quick custom web applications using low code and integrates very well with Workspace, which was our perfect use case. So what we've really done is use the versatility of Podio as a backend, so quick, so dynamic, together with the simplicity of Microapps and Workspace, really bringing together the strengths of these two Citrix technologies to roll out a very custom solution very quickly. And of course, we only spoke about a few examples, but we'll see how we can use Podio, which is a very simple SOR, to design solutions for remote work, team collaboration, employee engagement, the way we saw surveys and broadcasts, workflow automation, and really the options are limitless. Okay, anyway, back to that promise of it being ridiculously simple. So let's take a look at this example that I have. We'll take a look at how to build an integration and a microapp end-to-end with Podio. Let's look at this employee broadcast utility app. This is the sort of what we demoed in the utility apps before. And you can see that this is using Podio as the backend. Now, before I go into more how to configure this in Workspace, let's step back for a second and see how to get started on Podio. Now, this is what Podio looks like. You have a lot of workspaces in Podio, and I'm in this broadcast workspace app, workspace, and I can create an app, and you can see I can create a ready-made template, and there are just so many options I can choose from, and I can deploy quickly in minutes. I don't even have to create my own app. But for the purpose of this demo, I have an app that I already have created. And let's look at how this was created. It's a very simple low-code interface, drag and drop. And as simple as it is, it actually is packed with features to help you achieve the most complex custom workflows. In this demo, we're really only scratching the surface of Podio, but I highly recommend another session being run by my colleague, Sarah Hoig, with some of our partners. It's called Empower Teams and Leverage Citrix Workspace for Business Agility Needs. In that session, they delve deeper into features of Podio, how to use it to create your own mini CRM systems, approval systems, and how to use workflow automation, which is another really cool feature of Podio, to achieve some really complex workflows. So yeah, highly recommend that session. So yeah, back to this the app that I was creating. So you'll see that it's not unlike the workspace builder that we have. It's drag and drop. I can very easily say, okay, I just want to have another component here. I want to have an image. So it's very, very simple. And of course, I'm not going to do that right now because I need to demo this. Okay. And now back to Workspace. So what I've done is the data loading. I refer to an app. And what is this app? The app that I was just working with, if I go to the developer tools here, so every app has an ID. So this is my announcement app that I'm using. And all I have done is I have used that ID here. Similarly, I have set that up in service actions as well. And let's take a look at the micro app. What is the micro app do? It is a very simple service action write back micro app that I have created. And so this basically mimics the form, sort of the form that we had created in Podio. Let's go back to the template once more. So I have similar fields in this micro app, and if I look at the service action that is configured here, it just says write back to the data endpoint that I had created, the service action endpoint that I had created, and the parameters are very simple, just one-to-one. I'm writing back to that web form that I've created in Podio. And for the user experience, so let's see, this is a create broadcast. So what I'm going to say is, I'm going to say Converge demo, creating a broadcast live for Converge, and broadcast really. And when I come back here, and I have this created, really simple. It was quick and easy. It took me minutes to set up an application in Podio, set it up in Workspace, and to have a quick demo going. So a very quick example of how I can quickly set up a custom application in Podio and front it with Workspace for the unified and simplified user experience that can be so, so powerful. So we've spent some time today talking about how we here at Citrix have managed to keep our employees productive through this post-pandemic phase by leveraging two of our own technologies. We've introduced you to the power of Podio and given you an idea of the sort of things you can do with this very versatile SOR. But I mean, what's in it for you, right? I mean, of course, you can now, I'm sure you can't wait to go back and create your own applications. But is there some way we can make this process of integrating with Podio even simpler for you? Well, we are very excited to share that very soon Podio will be available as an out-of-the-box template integration. It will include some template micro apps for the sort of workflows that we've discussed today, so that we can help you roll out these utility apps for your partners, for your customers, your organizations with a single click. But we've had a glimpse of how powerful Podio can be, so there's really no reason you should limit yourself to these template micro apps. And we can't wait to see how you will leverage the simplicity of micro apps on Citrix Workspace with the versatility of Podio to power your very own unique workflows. And with that, Pallabi and I would like to thank you for watching our session today. We are available on Slack and email and would love to hear your thoughts on what we've presented today and about Workspace in general, of course. Thank you again and hope you have a great time here at Citrix Converge. Thanks.